Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time. Commander is an incredibly popular way to play Magic the Gathering, and even if you're new to the game, you can jump right into the action by grabbing a pre-constructed deck with just about every new set release. These products are a great starting point, but a huge part of the fun is upgrading them to really match your own play style and personality. So today I'm going to share a handful of tips for taking your first Commander deck from stock list to chef's kiss. This video is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast, and if you don't have a Commander deck yet, I've got a link down below that will show you exactly where to get one. So go ahead and check that out and get yourself ready for your next Commander game night. Alright, now let's take a look at my top tips for upgrading your Commander Precon. The first is probably the most important, though I admit it might not be the most exciting, and that is look over your lands. Lands are everything in Magic. They're not as flashy as planeswalkers or giant creatures, but without your humble lands, none of that other stuff will ever reach the battlefield. So let's say you've got Virtue and Valor, the green and white deck from Wilds of Eldraine. Right out of the box, you do have some lands that can make both of your colors, and a bunch of basics. But there are so many opportunities to improve things here. There are three areas I like to focus on: mana making, utility functions, and creature. For mana making, we want lands that make mana. Shocking, I know, but this is where we fit a lot of our multicolor lands and basics. Virtue and Valor only has about half a dozen lands able to make both of your colors. You could increase that by adding Sunpetal Grove, Temple Garden, or Bountiful Promenade, just to name a few. Your mana makers are there to help you cast your spells, so having reliable access to all of your colors makes a big difference in your deck's ability to perform. Utility function lands do more than just make mana. These ones often provide a service, which is a wonderful thing to be able to squeeze out of your lands instead of tying up a spell slot. The best example here is Hall of Heliod's Generosity, which can help you recover your important enchantments, but adding something like Rogue's Passage might let you attack with a creature that's wearing a lot of powerful auras. I also usually add Demolition Field or Field of Ruin to my commander decks. Being able to destroy an opponent's utility land is a utility in and of itself, and it's especially useful when answering a creature land. By creature land, I mean a land that either creates creature tokens or becomes a creature, and every deck should try to include one or two of these if they can. That's because in Commander, you'll often see someone wipe the board with a sorcery, leaving the battlefield wide open. If you've got a land that can come alive and attack, or create a token on another player's end step so it can attack on your turn, you'll be in great shape. But remember, you won't have room for everything, and you don't want to replace all of your basics, because if somebody uses their Field of Ruin on your Cave of the Frost Dragon, you're going to need something to come out of your deck and step into the smoldering crater that was your creature land. Not to mention the increase in your property insurance premiums. Have you seen the deductible on activating a Cave of the Frost Dragon these days? Anyway, lands are an important thing to upgrade. You can increase your ability to make colored mana, add additional utility, and sneak a few extra attackers or blockers onto the battlefield. With that settled, the next place I turn my attention is to the deck's own commander. Your precon will actually come with at least two, and they're both foil, which will help them to stand out. Most players just use the one that appears on the front of the box and comes with the special foil-etched variant. So a good way to make your deck immediately feel unique is to just swap to the other commander that's included. This alone can dramatically change how the deck plays. It will affect your evaluation of other cards and often force you to make different decisions about how to cast your other spells. So I always recommend playing a few games with each available commander to get a sense for how they interact with the other cards in your deck. But after doing that, if you're not happy with either of them, start looking through the matching set release. For the Wilds of Eldraine decks, that means Wilds of Eldraine, where we can find Yenna, a noble elf who also cares about enchantments and fits perfectly with the mechanics of the Virtue and Valor deck. But why stop there? Your commander is arguably the single most important card out of your 100, and Magic has so many to pick from, so feel free to look around and find one that really speaks to you. You can narrow your search a bit by focusing on adjacent sets, because there is often some mechanical overlap among cards that are released within the same year or so. Danitha or Calyx would be very happy to lead your Virtue and Valor deck, even if they have never been to Eldraine. Of course, thanks to the Omen Paths, that could change at any moment, so you're free to tell the story you want to tell. And one other way to upgrade your deck is through Cosmetic Improvements. Okay, so this won't make your deck any more powerful, but it does make it more fun and flavorful, and certainly more expressive. Stretch out the art on your basic lands, or trade with a friend for a borderless version of your new commander. Set boosters from the same set as your Precon deck are a convenient source of enchanting card variants, so consider grabbing a few of those as well. And Commander Masters gave us great-looking versions of staple cards like Soul Ring, Command Tower, and Arcane Signet, making it easier than ever to bling out your favorite deck. Memories are an important part of this game too. Magic has been a part of my life for over 25 years now, and I try to bring a little of that to each deck I work on. So my final upgrade tip for you is to take your Precon deck and splash in one card that you just love. Maybe it's something from your very first booster pack, or the promo card from your first pre-release. I don't care if it doesn't match the theme. I don't care if it's not optimal for the strategy. I don't care if it's just a basic land that you got signed by your favorite content creator. Put one card in there that makes you happy every time you draw it. And then, when someone tells you to cut it, say, I can't. That's my favorite card in the deck. Because if you're not upgrading for the experience, then why play at all? How will you upgrade your next Commander Preconstructed deck? Let me know in the comments, and check out my link for Wizards of the Coast while you're down there. Then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. We'll see ya!